Titans won the toss, and they defer. The Browns will receive. Mike Munchak, the head coach of the Titans, his first year as head coach, taking over, following Jeff Fisher, who departed after 16 seasons. Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler, a great guard. And similar to Munchak, this is Pat Shurmur's first season as a head coach, one-time offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams, a quarterback's coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, also handled tight ends in the offensive line. You're looking at Joshua Cribbs back as the return man. He did play last week, but because of that nagging groin injury, did not return kicks. Rob Baronis, 7-year man from Georgia Southern, getting set to kick it off to the always dangerous Cribbs. Two-time Pro Bowl kick returner. In fact, the NFL's career leader with 8 kickoff returns for touchdowns. But Baronis does not allow the return. So here comes Colt McCoy, 3rd-round draft pick out of Texas last season. Showed signs as a rookie last year, and now he is running the West Coast offense of the Browns.
As he told us on Friday, Marv, he was not happy with his performance last week. And if I'm Pat Shurmur, I want to make sure I get him off to a fast start. And I think you do that by giving him some of his favorite throws and concepts and let him go play.
It's a backfield of Peyton Hillis and Montario Hardesty, who played well in the absence of Hillis last week. And McCoy swings it out. Hillis goes for about 2 yards on the play. As we look at the Browns up front, Tony Pachos returning after missing the first 3 games with an injured right ankle. And the backs and receivers. We talked about Peyton Hillis earlier. Last season broke out with 1,177 yards rushing plus 61 catches. Cribbs also in the backfield as Hillis tried the left side and gets across the 25, met by Jarrell Casey, 4-yard advance. Dave Ball, the only Titan starting defensive lineman with a sack, as you see the front 4. And Will Witherspoon last week, he wrapped up the victory over Denver with that 4th quarter interception of Kyle Orton. And in the secondary, Cortland Finnegan back to playing at a Pro Bowl level. Made the Pro Bowl as a right corner several years back. McCoy with the time, able to dump it off, has a first down, and has Brian Robisky, who has not been able to get into the offense. That's his first catch of the season.
Yeah, they got to get the wide receivers involved in the game plan early. Good protection here. And the thing that Colt McCoy does a nice job of is stepping up inside, trusting that there's protection in between that A-gap between the centers and guards. That's where the protection is at its best.
8-yard pickup and a first down for the Browns. And again he goes the middle. The tight end Alex Smith with another Cleveland first down, met by the middle linebacker Barrett Ruud, and that is good for 13.
And you really have to pay attention where these tight ends are mixed up in the offense. You're going to see Smith right here. They love to utilize 2 and 3 tight ends in the offense. Smith has been very good working alongside Ben Watson, and then they even bring in Evan Moore. We'll see 3 tight end sets as well.
Hillis to the ground, good second effort. He's so difficult to bring down. Picked up 6.
Well, it's pretty simple. Tennessee has got to crowd the line of scrimmage. You can't let Peyton Hillis get started. Cleveland wants to run the football, and then off of that, the play action and some of the shots down the field. But you have to make this team one-dimensional. Make Colt McCoy throw the ball to these wide receivers in this offense.
It'll be a second down and 4. It appeared that one of the officials was shaken up. Looks like the umpire, Reuben Fowler.
It might be you think about early in the game, even the officials aren't warmed up. Look at injuries that happen early, whether it's a pulled muscle or something in the calf. Backpedaling.
2nd and 4 for the Browns. Hillis once again with a terrific second effort, and it's another first down. He goes for 6. The strong safety, Chris Hope, who is back after missing 2 games with a shoulder injury.
Well, when you get your opportunities with Peyton Hillis, you've got to get him on the ground. You're going to see a missed tackle or 2, and he's just too strong. You've got to bring him down low. He's not one of those backs you can hit up high.
Good drive here by the Browns, who have certainly had their difficulties in the first quarter, first 3 games. Nice move by McCoy, and then his pass is caught out of bounds by Michael Griffin, the free safety. So it's an incomplete pass.
And this is where Colt McCoy has done most of his damage through the first 3 weeks of the season. When they get him outside the pocket and he can extend plays and make big throws down the field. I think this is where he's most comfortable. He's so athletic. He's got good quickness. Got to be careful here, though, and the receiver has to come back to the quarterback.
Rich, what was Colt McCoy telling us yesterday after practice as the handoff again goes to Hillis, short pickup. Colt saying that he knows he can play a lot better. He said, I'm learning every day. I'm starting to get a feel for each guy.
Yeah, I think he was disappointed. And what happens is there's a lot of new learning going on as they're all in the first year of this system with Pat Shurmur. So it's not just a question of Colt being comfortable, but the other 10 players around him. And I can just see when you look at the receivers, there's a little indecision right now between the quarterbacks and the receivers.
3rd and 8 at the Titan 40-yard line. Robisky now split wide to the left. McCoy, and that is broken up. Pass intended for the tight end, Benjamin Watson. Will Witherspoon on the coverage. So, a good-looking drive is stalled.
Well, they just want to get him matched up on the linebacker, running a little option route. And Will Witherspoon does a nice job. He's right there in position. You've got to focus in on these tight ends, particularly a guy like Ben Watson, who leads the team right now with 10 receptions.
Mark Mariani, second-year player from Montana, is back. And he lets that punt carry over his head, but it's down at about the 2. Down by Buster Screen, the rookie from Chattanooga. "37-yard punt by Brad Maynard, but a beauty down at the 2, as you can see. The Titans starting from their 2-yard line. Here is Hasselbeck. It is deflected and nearly picked off. Sheldon Brown, who figures to be a target. He's the right corner, able to break it up. The pass intended for Damian Williams. Matt Hasselbeck telling us that he made his first NFL start here in Cleveland. Said it was a 9-6 thriller won by Seattle.
Yeah, and he has shown that he can still be productive and win games. And what he brings is experience and a proven leader at the quarterback position.
Hand off to Chris Johnson, and they bottle him up. Picked up 3 on the play. Let's take a look at the lineup for Tennessee. They have been excellent up front. The left tackle, Michael Roos, Pro Bowler several years back, goes 6'7", 300 pounds. And Chris Johnson last week against Denver, only 21 yards on 13 carries. As we touched on earlier, he's averaging just 2.1 per carry.
Incredible. There's something to training camp. He missed a lot of time. He's still, to me, a little indecisive.
The tight end Cook is to the right. Hasselbeck from his end zone. It's broken up again. This time intended for Lavelle Hawkins, covered by the left corner, Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden has played so well over the first 3 games, and they usually do not go to his side. That's why Sheldon Brown gets so much activity.
I think that's the one corner that you want to avoid in this secondary. Joe Hayden is playing like a superstar right now.
Brett Kern will punt from deep in his end zone, and Joshua Cribbs certainly has to like this situation. He is out at midfield. But Cribbs has to backpedal. Beautiful punt. Nice block. Beautiful move by Cribbs, and then he's hauled down across the 45-yard line. Tim Shaw, backup linebacker, made the stop. 64-yard punt, 16 yards on the return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by Ford. Drive one.
Beautiful shot on the banks of Lake Erie. 53 degrees. Heavy winds though here at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Feels a little toasty up here. That V-neck sweater has really paid off, Rich. Play action, and McCoy's pass is caught. First down and more for Greg Little, who was a major factor in the fourth quarter last week. That's good for 25.
And when you run the ball so well on the early downs, the play action can be huge. Nice job here by Colt McCoy, extending the ball, faking it to Peyton Hillis. You've got an 8-man front. You're going to get one-on-one coverage on the back end. And right there, Greg Little, big receiver and a big target downfield for McCoy.
Little going against the corner, Jason McCourty. Browns with a 1st and 10 inside the Tennessee 30. McCoy again getting the time, and that pass slightly off the mark. Barrett Ruud on the coverage. Pass intended for Benjamin Watson.
Well, you can't miss these throws when you have them this wide open. You're going to see Benjamin Watson. He's going to get up here on the second level, and Barrett Ruud's right there to cover him. He's got him wide open. You look at footwork. Watch Colt McCoy at the top of his drop, how many hitches he takes, and this makes him miss the throw. You can't miss behind a tight end like Ben Watson.
Mohamed Massaquoi wide to the left. Hillis, the running back, looked to go wide, then cut in across the 25-yard line. So Peyton Hillis picked up 4. Let's check in with JB. Here's an update from our New York studio.
All right, Marv, Dallas didn't score a touchdown in its win last week, Shannon.
Yes, and Matthew Stafford turns the football over, and Dallas strikes first. 25-yard touchdown, JB. 7-0 early. Cowboys.
All right.
Back to Marvin, Rich Gannon.
All right, guys. Browns again on the move. 3rd down and 6. Halfway through this opening quarter with no score. A little pitch for Cribbs. Cribbs on an option. Looked like he wanted to throw the ball, and he's hauled down by Carl Klug.
Wow, really nice effort by Klug. This is something it looks like you draw up in the schoolyard, Marv. I mean, he flips it to Josh Cribbs. Josh Cribbs is going to start to his left and work all the way back around to the right, but they didn't fool the Tennessee Titans at all. You see the toss. Cribbs wants to start him thinking it's a reverse, and he works all the way back, but look at the effort by the rookie Carl Klug. Josh Cribbs never feels him from behind.
This a 49-yard attempt for Phil Dawson against the wind. Strong kick. It's good. Officially, it is called a 48-yarder. And for the first time this season, Browns score in the first quarter.
Well, we're back here in Cleveland. You hear terms like gap control and setting the edge when you talk about stopping a back like Chris Johnson. Well, here's what we're talking about. You want to set the edge and not give a back like Chris Johnson a two-way go. Don't allow him to get outside. You got to force him back up inside. Everyone has to be responsible and maintain their gap so that you force a runner like Chris Johnson to the boundary.
How about a 48-yard field goal a moment ago by Dawson? And let's see what he does here on the kickoff. Tennessee, over the first 3 games, has not been able to return a kickoff. They've all been touchbacks. And this one carries out of bounds inside the
Kickoff
5.
Out of bounds. By rule, the ball be placed on the 40-yard line. First down. Timeout.
So Chris Johnson back to the offense. Cleveland up 3-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon from Cleveland Browns Stadium. 73,000 sellout crowd as Tennessee takes over. Here's Johnson, able to get around the edge. Johnson with his best run of the season, bringing into Browns territory. Caught by the free safety, Mike Adams. So that's a 25-yard run by Johnson.
Well, you keep an eye on Chris Gokong. He's right here. And what happens is Chris Johnson's just going to bounce this run to the edge. We talk about setting the edge, forcing him back inside. Chris Gokong takes that one false step, and Chris Johnson has too much speed to get on the perimeter.
Damian Williams flipped wide to the right, starting for the injured Kenny Britt. Again, the call for Johnson. Able to scramble close to the 30, picked up 4 on the play. Once again, let's check in with JB in our New York studios.
Marv, Houston trying to make a statement against Pittsburgh.
I think I might have caught one of these guys. Fake 18 handoff. Tiger delay. Owen Daniels, 1-yard touchdown. The Texans are out early over the Steelers, 7-0.
Marv, 19 plays, 95 yards, nearly 11-minute drive. Back to Marv and Rich.
All right, JB and Shannon back in New York. I'll be keeping us posted throughout the day. Here's Johnson again. This time a straight-ahead move. Fujita and Jackson combined on the stop. Just 2 on that play. And Rich, we received word that the umpire, Ruben Fowler, who went down early, will not return. He's out with a strained calf injury.
Oh, that's bad. I mean, how can an umpire go out on the first series of the game? That's almost as bad as you wearing that sweater the first weekend in October in Cleveland. It's football weather. What are you doing?
That's a V-neck you're talking about?
Yes, a V-neck.
You're just sensitive because you did not receive yours? Yes. Hasselbeck. Oh, beautiful catch inside the 15 made by Lavelle Hawkins, 4-year man from the University of California, and he went right at Joe Hayden. That's 19 on the pass play.
Yeah, Matt Hasselbeck looks so comfortable in this offense. I think a big reason why is that group up front, the protection. They give him plenty of time to sit in there and make a good, accurate throw down the field. And he's not afraid to go after Joe Hayden. We talked with him last night. He says certainly he has a great deal of respect for him. He thinks he's the best corner that they have, but he's willing to take some shots down the field.
Now Nate Washington is flanked to the right side. Had a terrific game last week. Career high 8 catches, but it's back to the ground for Javon Ringer. Javon Ringer tried to make the turn, but DeQuell Jackson cut him off just a yard on the play. DeQuell Jackson, who has made it back after being sidelined all of last year by injury, was the AFC Defensive Player of the Month in his 6th year out of Maryland. He's been leading the Browns in tackles. He has been outstanding over the first 3 games.
Yeah, really incredible. Here's a guy that missed the last 2 seasons with the pectoral injuries, and he's come back and he's played some really good football in the middle of that defense.
2nd down and 9. Hasselbeck out of the gun, looking left, then throws end zone. Touchdown! The tight end Craig Stevens, who came up with a huge catch last week. In fact, that is only his 4th reception of the season. It's a 12-yard pass play, and the Titans for the first time this season put up points in the first quarter.
Yeah, they're playing zone coverage, and they leave the tight end Stevens alone, and he's matched up. For some reason, the safety starts working back to the middle of the field. No idea why T.J. Ward would have covered Stevens to the corner.
Baronis for the extra point. Craig Stevens, 4-year man from the University of California. Low snap, but it's handled. Tennessee with a 7-3 lead. Matt Hasselbeck with his 6th touchdown throw of the season.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
For the Titans, 6 plays, they go 60 yards. Big run by Chris Johnson. Just under 3.5 minutes, and Hasselbeck with the pass to the tight end Stevens. So now Baronis will kick it away to Cribbs, who is deep in his end zone. Cribbs gets across the 20-yard line. Met by Tommy Campbell. It's a 27-yard return. While we have a moment here, on behalf of all of us at CBS Sports, we'd like to express our condolences to the family of one-time Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger, who passed away this past Friday at the age of 58 while undergoing chemotherapy for cancer. NFL fans certainly familiar with Mike's excellent work over the years, and we were all so sorry to hear the news. Hardesty made the turn. Montario Hardesty picked up 4 on the play. It was a very emotional moment last season after the Titans defeated the Houston Texans. Week 15, head coach Jeff Fisher presented Mike Heimerdinger with the game ball. Although Mike was sick at the time, he insisted that he could still work, and he did. And that was quite a ceremony in the locker room.
Yeah, and he was a great coach. I had the benefit of spending a week with him at the Pro Bowl one year as he coached me, and just really missed Dinger.
2nd down and 6. And a hard hit from behind, which led to the flag. Jordan Babineau in the coverage of Mohamed Massaquoi.
Pass interference. Number 26, defense. Automatic. 1st down.
Well, you're going to get a look at Jordan Babineau. He's right here. It's just going to be a little bit early there. You got to be able to time it up a little bit better. Mohamed Massaquoi never had a chance to make that catch.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Titans have a 7-3 lead on the Browns. Hardesty is the lone setback. See the play fake. McCoy has a wide open receiver. It was Greg Little, and a penalty marker is down. So we will hear once again from Pete Morelli.
Holding. Number 31, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
It's the defender, the quarterback Cortland Finnegan, hit with the hold on Greg Little.
Well, just about 5 yards right there, and Cortland Finnegan just tries to grab that left arm, and they're not going to miss that one. And that disrupts the timing and rhythm a little bit. I think that's one of the reasons why Colt McCoy was a little bit high to Greg Little.
Pat Shurmur stays with Montario Hardesty as the lone deep back. This is Hardesty. See the big hole, gets across the 40, but short of a 1st down. Jason McCourty, the left corner, makes the stop, and Hardesty picked up 4. Montario Hardesty back from season-ending knee surgery, which allowed Peyton Hillis to emerge last season. Hardesty out of the University of Tennessee. In fact, had an injury-hit collegiate career. 2nd and 6. Once again, it's Hardesty. Gets to the 45-yard line. Picked up 4 short of a first down. Let's get back to JB.
Hey, Marv, you recall Charlie Casserly said during the pregame show Cam Newton would struggle against the Bears.
And against cover 2, JB, you must run them out of this. You can't throw it. Double covered. Picked off. DJ Moore returns it. 20 yards into the end zone. 10-3. Chicago.
All right, let's take it back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
And they can't forget about Jonathan Stewart, D'Angelo Williams. They're throwing the ball right now too much in Carolina.
3rd and 1. McCoy. It is caught by Hardesty for a first down and additional yardage. Finnegan and Griffin combined to make the tackle. Beautifully designed play. It goes for 27.
And sometimes as a quarterback, you have to give the back or the receiver a chance to make a play. And that's just what Colt McCoy does here. This is pretty good coverage. But watch a perfect throw and catch gets it done here to Montario Hardesty. Babineau right there to make the play. He just can't get his hands on the ball.
Final minute of this first quarter. Again, it's Hardesty. Picked up a couple. Jarrell Casey, the defensive tackle, making the stop. Pat Shurmur, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Trying to throw the ball a little bit more on first down. I think that's important. You can't afford to be a one-dimensional offense with Peyton Hillis. They got to be able to generate some big plays through the air. If not, it just becomes too difficult to run the ball all the time versus 8-man front.
Well, the Browns will let the quarter run out. That's the end of the first with the score. Titans 7, Browns 3. Back to Cleveland after this. Back in Cleveland, Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon. The Titans have a 7-3 lead. Matt Hasselbeck throwing that 12-yard touchdown pass to the tight end Craig Stevens. 48-yard field goal for Bill Dawson. Very impressive first quarter for Montario Hardesty, who came on for Peyton Hillis. Hillis back on the field. Second down and 8. Ball was fumbled by McCoy, but able to cover up on it.
Well, that's not something you typically see from a Pro Bowl center in Alec Mack and Colt McCoy. Sometimes it's so hard to tell whether the quarterback pulled out, if Alex is trying to get a reach block on the nose tackle to his left. Either way, this is something that should never happen.
The end result, a loss of 8. So a third down, 16. Joshua Cribbs checks in as a receiver. He's wide to the right. And McCoy trying to find Cribbs, nearly picked off. McCourty broke it up and almost came up with the interception.
Well, this is unusual. Looks like both tackles are late getting out of their stance. You see Joe Thomas, the Pro Bowl on the left, he gets beat right away. Then on the right side, they bring a safety blitz right up the middle. Colt McCoy can't hold it, but you can't make this throw. The Browns are not good enough right now to be able to overcome all the mistakes. The penalties, the missed snap from center, you can't make these mistakes and expect to win games.
50-yard attempt for Dawson. How about that? He hit from 48 and now from 50, but a flag is tossed.
Number 30, defense offside. Penalty will be declined. Field goal is good.
Well, it's on Jason McCourty, but it is declined. They'll take the points. Officially, that is called a 51-yard field goal. You can manage all of your CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile device. Download the free app today at cbssports.com/mobile. Well, Mark Mariani, 7th round pick last year out of Montana and one of the superb kick return men in the NFL, still seeking to return a kick for the first time this season. And here he is on the return. Gets out near the 20-yard line. Buster Skrine was able to make the stop. Tomorrow, the only thing these two girls have in common is that they are broke. CY2. Broke Girls is TV's #1 new show. Two Broke Girls tomorrow after How I Met Your Mother. Only CBS. Last season, Mariani averaged 25 yards per kick return. And finally, in this game number 4, early second quarter, that's his first return of the season because of those new kickoff rules. They've been keeping it away from him. Hasselbeck, beautiful touch. Finds the tight end Cook, and Cook breaks tackles. Cook goes all the way. An 80-yard pass play and run for Jared Cook, his first touchdown of the season.
Well, you're going to see right here, Fujita, he's got the tight end in man-to-man coverage, and they're throwing the ball on first down because they're getting so many heavy 8-man fronts, and he just beats them clear across the field. Now, here's where the problem is. Osama Young, he's got to make that stop. He takes a poor angle and allows Jared Cook to go the distance.
Second touchdown pass of the day for Hasselbeck.
That's too easy.
That's 7 for the season. And here is Rob Baronis for the extra point. And this crowd is very quiet. Hasselbeck has actually thrown touchdown passes on his last 2 attempts.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. DirecTV. This season, NFL Sunday Ticket is included when you switch. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Tennessee with a 14-6 lead over Cleveland. We're early second quarter as Baronis gets set to kick it away to Cribbs. Browns and the Titans each come in with records of 2-1. The last time the Browns opened up at 3-1, it was back in 2001. And they ended up finishing the season at 7-9. Cribbs, although racing far to his right, decided to let it go. It's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
Well, if you go back and you look at the tail end of this, Scott Fujita is obviously not going to make this play on Jared Cook, but Osama Young has got to get him on the ground. First of all, he takes a poor angle. Now watch where he goes to try and tackle him up around the waist. You've got to get him down by the legs. There's no reason why they can't make that tackle. That's a big play in the game, a play that should never have happened.
Jared Cook goes, 6'5", about 250 pounds. Hardesty remains in the backfield. Hardesty out to the 25-yard line, picked up 5. Jason McCourty making the tackle.
Hardesty has shown some flashes last week. He gets extended opportunity because of the illness to Peyton Hillis against Miami. I think he's going to be a nice compliment to Peyton Hillis. You need 2 backs. It's such a long season.
Matt Shermer giving Hardesty a lot of snaps here on the first half. Catch made by Evan Moore, the 6'6" tight end in front of Cortland Finnegan. It is a first down for the Browns on a 15-yard pass play.
Really a nice job here by Colt McCoy. He wants to throw the slant in the first window. It's not there, and then he resets and throws it right behind the safety, Babineau. Evan Moore is a big target. When he's in the game, you've got to think pass. He's not in there to block anybody.
First down for the Browns at their 40. McCoy able to swing it to Little. And not much there. He was met by Babineau, picked up 2. Let's go to JB and Shannon back in New York.
Hey, Marv, this would qualify as a while watching Michael Vick.
If Barry Sanders played quarterback, this is what he would look like, guys. But only left-handed. Mike Vick up top, Clay Harbor down below, 16 yards, 7-3 Philly over San Francisco.
That atones for a pick thrown earlier by Michael Vick. Let's get back to Marv and Rich.
Well, JB and Shannon, now all they have to do is find a way to keep him healthy.
McCoy going underneath. Watson with a first down for the Browns in Titan territory, and that's good for 13. The weak side linebacker Will Witherspoon came up to make the tackle.
Well, they do such a great job utilizing the tight ends in this offense. You see 2 of them, but they love the crossing routes, particularly to Ben Watson.
So those numbers, Matt Hasselbeck has been very efficient. He has thrown touchdowns on his last 2 attempts. Hardesty trying to bounce his way, and he is stopped at the line by Jarrell Casey.
Yeah, it's good to see Hardesty in there, but I got to tell you, Marv, I'm a little surprised that we're not seeing more of Peyton Hillis as he comes onto the field right now. And this guy was incredible last season. He accounted for over 1,600 yards of offense, accounted for half of their touchdowns. He needs to be more of an impact player early in games.
Ellis back out there. He and Armand Smith are the running backs. Now Smith flanks to the right side. Play action as McCoy took a good pop, and the pass intended for Smith, the rookie out of Union College. It was Witherspoon getting to the quarterback, Colt McCoy.
Well, this is a problem. When you don't block the end man on the line of scrimmage, Witherspoon, you've got a problem. This is too hard for Colt McCoy to get done. You've got a linebacker right in your face, and you can't hold it. That's a flaw in the system. Either Colt McCoy's got to change it, or they've got to get out of that play into something better.
McCoy now 8 of 13, 104 yards. Both scores were long field goals by Dawson. McCoy with time, Cripps breaks a tackle, and then he is stopped just shy of the 40 by Finnegan. So they're short of the first down. That's a 5-yard play.
Well, you've got to get the ball earlier to Josh Cripps. Just watch him. He's going to come across the screen. Right now, this is where he wants the ball. Watch where he winds up getting it. All the way backside across the hash marks. Now you got Cortland Finnegan come up there and make the stop. You've got to get him the ball in his hands earlier.
Second punt of the day for Brad Maynard. Good hang time. And the fair catch made at the 7 by Mariani. 34-yard punt, but gets the job done. The 3rd year of the NFL's a crucial catch campaign to raise awareness for the importance of annual mammograms, particularly for women over the age of 40. In fact, players are wearing pink gear that includes cleats, wristbands, gloves, and sideline towels. Even the officials have been showing their support. The NFL's crucial catch campaign, which is taking place throughout the country. Pass incomplete, intended for Jared Cook. Matt Hasselbeck, you'll recall, was on the Green Bay Packers practice squad back in 1998. That was the final year of Mike Holmgren's run in Green Bay. Mike now the president of the Cleveland Browns. And then when Holmgren moved on to Seattle as head coach, Seahawks acquired Hasselbeck in a trade, and Matt blossomed under Holmgren in his 10 years in Seattle. Off to a terrific start in this first half. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns. Goes to the ground, and Johnson is trapped. Nowhere to go. Met by the weak side linebacker Chris Gokong along with the right corner Sheldon Brown.
Well, they do a great job. I want you to keep an eye. Look at how many defenders are in the box. They're going to get down 8 around the line of scrimmage. They want to make sure that they take care of Chris Johnson. We talked about making him run east and west and not north and south. Gap control. Dick Duran, that's got to be a priority. They don't want Chris Johnson to get started against them here today.
He had that one good run early, a 25-yard sprint. On the screen, Johnson. They gang tackle him. Short gain. Good job by the Browns, led by Scott Fujita. That's a 5-yard play. And the punt team will come on.
And Marv, you mentioned gang tackling. That's the key when you're playing a back like Chris Johnson. You've got to get a lot of hats to the ball. Every time he touches the ball, you want to see a lot of orange helmets around Chris Johnson. Well, this guy is dangerous.
The punter, Brett Kern, is back beyond his goal line as he punts to Cribbs. Very little room to maneuver for Joshua Cribbs. 55-yard punt, 12-yard return. Tennessee with a 14-6 lead, and we'll hold it right here. A penalty marker was thrown. I thought I had such a smooth transition to commercial break.
You were doing
when
great.
That happens, you know.
The officials got in the way
Yeah.
again.
Moving along swiftly on a very toasty day here in the broadcast booth.
There are 2 fouls during the play. Holding. Number 90, the kicking team. Personal foul after the play. Number 57, kicking team. The penalties will offset. 4th down.
The hold on Derek Morgan of Tennessee, and then there was a personal foul on the Browns. I don't know if he had the correct number.
Well, that's a big penalty because now you put Josh Cribbs back out on the field. And that's not what Mike Munchak wants. I'm a little surprised that they're punting the ball right down the middle of the field and giving Josh Cribbs so many opportunities. I think he's one of the best returners in the business, Marv, because he's very decisive. He heads right downhill. Look at the size of those legs. He's a big, strong cat, and he's not easy to bring down in the open field.
6'1", 215 pounds. So this is a do-over as Cribbs awaits the punt at his 36. Joshua Cribbs, 2-time Pro Bowl kick returner.
A little surprised we're not seeing more directional kicking with Brett Kern.
Handled a low snap. And Cribbs will let it carry out of bounds. 37-yard punt does not allow a return. And now we'll take a break.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade, Investing Unleashed, and by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback.
Now look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame adjacent to Cleveland Browns Stadium. The sounds of the Shirelles.
By request.
Yes.
It doesn't get any better than that. We always try and stop by when we're in town. What a great place.
Worth its weight in solid gold. The Shirelles. Sorry. Massaquoi with his first catch of the day. Jordan Babineau on the coverage. A 4-yard pickup.
Well, Cleveland has had some pretty good field position, but they've not been able to do anything with it in the opponent territory. You look here, 13 plays. They've not been good on the early downs. They've had a number of 3rd and longs, and that's really hurt them.
Second down and 6.
Monday is the call at the line of scrimmage.
And a penalty marker is thrown.
False start. Number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Well, the right tackle, Tony Pashos, who made his return today after that ankle injury, kept him out of the first 3 games.
He hasn't played since October of last year, and so he looked good at practice. on Friday. He's anxious to get back in there, and he's a much bigger body, and I think he's a better right tackle in pass protection. They certainly missed him the first 3 weeks.
Browns out of the I formation, and Hillis able to break free, just short of a first down as he runs it to the 41-yard line. Well, Devin Hester has made some news. Let's go to JB.
Marvin, Rich, you know what? Devin Hester's pretty good.
Before this punt, he and Eric Metcalf Jr., JB, were tied for the most punt returns in NFL history. They're no longer tied. 69 yards the other way, Devin Hester, the NFL record holder for most punt returns in an NFL career with 11, 24, 17.
Gap has been narrowed because of a 2-yard TD run by. Bam. Back to Marv and Rich.
All right, guys, as Hillis looks for the first down, but stopped at the line. I'll never forget that opening kickoff return of the Super Bowl when Devin Hester was a member of the Chicago Bears.
Why did they kick the ball to Devin Hester? Well, they need to get something going offensively. You've got a 4th and 1, and I like the call. This is an offense, I think, that has struggled a little bit with their confidence. They've not played particularly well at home. They've got to get it done.
4th down and a yard. Hillis and Smith lined up in the I formation. The pitch to Smith. He is trapped behind the line, but a good second effort. It was Michael Griffin, the free safety, who would not let go. And the officials discussing the spot.
Sometimes you can try and get too tricky. Just hand the ball to Peyton Hillis, your 245-pound back. Try and get cute and flip the ball to Smith. I think they're short.
They will measure. From our angle, it does not appear that he was able to make it. And it is just short. The Titans will take over on downs.
Well, you get the action by Hillis. Then what they do is they try and flip the ball to the back, the tailback, but just hand it to the fullback right now, Peyton Hillis. He'll get you the half a yard. Really nice tackle here by Michael Griffin, and they're not surprised at all. They're anticipating an outside flip. Well, even a quarterback sneak in that situation, you had a half a yard.
The runner, Armand Smith, the rookie out of Union College in Kentucky. So Tennessee takes over at their 40-yard line. Javon Ringer picks up a yard on the play. Scott Vegeta makes the tackle.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck doesn't mess around when you give him opportunities. Look at these first 4 possessions. Struggled a little bit coming out of their own end zone, but then after that, he was really sharp. Now the ball comes out of his hands real quick, and that's what you get with an experienced quarterback who's been in a number of different systems.
Chris Johnson, change of direction. Tough to bring down, gets out to midfield, looks to be just about a yard short of a first down. Chris Gokong made the tackle. Getting back to Matt Hasselbeck. Vince Young, Kerry Collins are gone. Hasselbeck signed as a free agent and off to the best start of his NFL career. How about his completion percentage? Just under 70. He's thrown 2 touchdowns here in the first half, has 7 on the season. Goes to the ground as Harper picks up the first down. Jamie Harper stopped by T.J. Ward coming up from strong safety.
Well, I really like what I've seen out of Matt Hasselbeck. And without Kenny Britt, he gets it started with a nice throw to Lavelle Hawkins. And they really like to utilize the tight ends in this offense. We see the throw to Stevens, and then, of course, the big 80-yard strike to Cook. Matt Hasselbeck playing like a man who's been in this system for 5 or 6 years. You've got to keep in mind, this is this 4th different play caller in the past 4 seasons.
Chris Johnson not able to make the turn, and he is turned back by Jamie Mitchell, the right defensive end, 6-year player out of Ole Miss. So Johnson, aside from that 25-yard run early, not able to get going. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That is coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. One of the Titans shaken up, so we will step away. Back after this.
You get a look at the tight end on the sidelines, Craig Stevens. You wonder why his ribs are sore. Just keep an eye. He's right in the middle of the screen here. As he goes down, look at Eugene Omano. He puts that right knee right into the side of his ribs. That does not feel good.
Hasselbeck able to complete over the middle. He has Nate Washington. Picked up a 5 on the play. Scott Fujita making the tackle. Nate Washington last week against Denver, a career high. 8 catches, including a touchdown. He is the Titans' leading receiver. 3rd year with Tennessee after 4. As a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was on 2 of those Super Bowl championship teams. And that reception, his first of the day. 3rd down and 6 as we come up on 3 minutes to play in the first half. Hasselbeck. It is broken up, intended for Lavelle Hawkins, who took a shot from the left corner, Joe Hayden.
Yeah, you go back and you look at this. This is a good throw by Matt Hasselbeck, Marv, but you've got to catch the ball with your hands and not your body. Keep an eye on Hawkins, where this one gets in on him. If he would have extended his hands and caught it in front of his body, Joe Hayden wouldn't have been able to make that play.
Brett Kern is on for the 3rd time, and Joshua Cribbs back at his 12. Facing the big rush, gets off a beautiful punt. Cribbs nearly tripped up. Cribbs taken down. Short return, just a 23-yard punt, got the hang time, and only a 2-yard return for Cribbs. All right, Richie made the point, you have to catch the ball with your hands.
Away from your body. And what happens there is Hawkins has got the ball and he's trying to catch it in real tight.
Wow, that hurts.
Yeah, but what happens is you got to put your hands way out, because now the defensive back can't make that play. When it's in tight, Joe Hayden can knock it out. And it's a simple thing we talk about all the time. As I hurt your back.
I mean,
I'm still mad about that sweater.
Man. Very physical, even off the air.
It's a physical game, even in the broadcast booth.
Just under 3 minutes to go in this first half. And the Browns back in possession. See Peyton Hillis returning to the field. Picked up 4 on the play.
Peyton Hillis told us on Friday that they're still trying to find their identity as an offense. As I study this Cleveland offense, there's not a lot of team speed, particularly at the wide receiver position. And they at times become a one-dimensional offense. They've really struggled getting the ball in the perimeter.
McCoy could not find anyone and then slides. And he took a late hit. See the flag came flying. Cortland Finnegan, who several years ago in that Sports Illustrated poll, let's listen to Pete Morelli.
Number 31, defense, 15-yard penalty automatic, first down.
Well, it's on Cortland Finnegan.
Well, sometimes you just watch that hand. He leads with his head, and you know, Cortland Finnegan's always fun to watch. He's a great competitor, but if there's any pushing or shoving going on during the game, there's a good chance that Cortland Finnegan's going to be in the middle of it.
But Rich, remember that poll, Hines Ward was named, as voted by supposedly other players, as the dirtiest player in the NFL, and Finnegan was around 7th or 8th.
He wasn't happy with
He was very upset. He felt he should have been higher.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. He sets the tone for this secondary. He's a very physical player.
They just do get off the play before the 2-minute warning, and McCoy spun around, and he is sacked. Jason Jones, the defensive end, will get credit for the sack, and now just under 2 to go in this first half. We'll take a break. 14-6 Titans over the Browns. Back in Cleveland, it is a 2nd and long off that sack by James Jones of the Titans. And McCoy went underneath. There's no contact made with Alex Smith. He looked around, he was surprised, and then he was covered up. Reminder coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Each team has their 3 timeouts remaining, and now one is used.
Boy, they waited a while, didn't they? Maybe they're challenging whether that was a catch or not. Well, it's really important for the tight end to see the ball leave the hands of the quarterback, and Alex Smith, it looks to me like he sees it the whole way. For whatever reason, he's just fighting it.
And that's a challenge from the booth, since we are under 2 minutes remaining in the half, so a timeout was not used. It is a booth review.
I always say it's easier to catch it the first time. You see right there, the ball goes between his legs. I think he tries to trap it between his knees, but you'd have to think that ball touched the ground first.
Alex Smith, originally a 3rd-round pick of the Buccaneers, spent 4 years with Tampa Bay, 7-year man from Stanford.
You know, they're making the easy catches look difficult. I mean, this is as simple as it gets, a little hook route. And again, Marv, the ball gets in on his body. We talk about if you're a confident receiver, you catch the ball with your hands extended. And that's not a good job by Alex Smith. Lets the ball get in on his body. I always told those receivers, catch the ball away from your body. It'll help you get into the transition to the run much quicker.
After reviewing the play, the pass is incomplete. The ball hit the ground. It will be 3rd down. The ball will be placed on the 38-yard line. Please set the game clock to 1:51.
And you have the feeling that the quarterback, Colt McCoy, knew it immediately. There he is, number 12 on the far side of your screen, walking away and upset.
Yeah, he's been frustrated. I know it's a process for a young quarterback, and he's got his own issues to worry about. You know, very difficult. Marv, you think about last year, Brian Dable was the play caller. Now just in his 2nd season, a new system, a new play caller in Pat Shurmur, and it takes a while with a young quarterback.
So again, a 3rd and long for the Browns. Cribbs thought he had running room, was able to get across the 45, tackled by Cortland Finnegan. It's a 9-yard pass play, and a timeout is now called. Titans take a timeout.
And this is a good call by Pat Shurmur. Marv, you mentioned 3rd and 21. Your chances of converting that in this league are about 5% or less. So now you kick one out, you pick up 9 or 10 yards, and you have the ability to pin Tennessee back in their own end. What you don't want to do is give up any more points before halftime. Talking to Pat Shurmur on Friday, I thought that was very interesting. You know, he said he forgot what it was like. He had to go back to his days in Philadelphia, pull out his old notes, year 1 installs. I think it's helped the fact that he's been through it before in Philadelphia. He went through it last year with a rookie quarterback in Sam Bradford in St. Louis. So he's got experience when it comes to installing new systems with young quarterbacks.
Brad Maynard punting for the 3rd time. Mark Mariani back at his 10. And Mariani is bottled up at the 23-yard line. Raven Trone leading the way. 39-yard punt, 8-yard return. Join the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign in the fight against breast cancer. We talked about this earlier. You can visit NFL.com/auction to bid on authentic, game-worn NFL pink products, all proceeds benefiting the American Cancer Society.
Pink all around the stadium today, Marv. Cheerleaders,
Players, officials. Javon Ringer with a short pickup. Ringer, a 3-year man out of Michigan State. 3-time All-Ohio selection in his high school days in Dayton. So he is an Ohio guy coming to town here with the Titans. Picked up 4. As we approach a minute to go in this first half. Hasselbeck. Oh, he's been on target. Another missed tackle as Cook has a first down.
Matt Hasselbeck has always liked to work the tight ends, and you see Cook come across the field, and again, another missed tackle. You've got to take these tight ends down low.
It's good for 13. Titans take another timeout. They have 1 remaining. Well, tonight on CBS, the race has just begun with former Indianapolis Colts tight end Marcus Pollard competing, plus Survivor winners Ethan and Jenna. The Amazing Race, new episode tonight, only CBS.
Marcus Pollard was a very, very good tight end for a long time in this league. Remember him with the Colts? The yards per completion. Not bad for Cleveland, but look at those numbers. 22 yards for Matt Hasselbeck and the Tennessee Titans, and a lot of them coming after the catch.
Matt, a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback with the Seattle Seahawks in his 13th NFL season out of Boston College, and it all began as a guy on the practice squad with the Green Bay Packers of Mike Holmgren. Here's Hasselbeck, has a wide open Nate Washington, puts the speed on. And he is hit from behind and taken down inside the 5 as Joe Hayden was able to race and haul down Washington from behind. It's a 57-yard pass and catch. It'll be 1st and goal at the 4. It's like Hayden shaken up. We talked about Nate Washington earlier. He's the Titans' leading receiver, 1-time Pittsburgh Steeler.
Well, look where the pick happens right there. You see it at the top of your screen. Little in and out, and they're not able to pass it off. Not real good, Dimitri Patterson. He gets caught. They're both playing press man-to-man coverage. This is really dangerous. You can see Damian Williams lends a little bit of a shoulder, and Nate Washington is able to go up the rail.
Tennessee taking its final timeout. Javon Ringer in the backfield for the Titans. Damian Williams splits wide to the left side. Just 37 seconds to go in this first half. Quick set by Hasselbeck. Flag is down. Touchdown, Tennessee. Damian Williams in the deep left-hand corner beating Sheldon Brown. And there's a penalty.
Well, all things being equal.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
It was on the defender, Sheldon Brown. So again, it is Hasselbeck finding pay dirt, his 3rd touchdown throw of the game.
Really nice touch here by Matt Hasselbeck. As he told us last night, Marv, all things being equal, I'm going to work away from Joe Hayden and go after the veteran Sheldon Brown.
4-yard touchdown pass play by Hasselbeck. Rob Baronis for the extra point. The Titans with a 21-6 lead on the Browns, who are hearing the boos for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, and Tennessee needed some young receivers to step up. We talked about Kenny Britt being out with a knee injury. Damian Williams has looked good. Lavelle Hawkins, and of course the tight ends have been a big story in the first half.
3 touchdown passes from Matt Hasselbeck. That's a season high for a single game. He has now thrown for 8 overall, completing 70% of his passes, vying for a third straight 300 passing yard game. For the first time in his career, he has 194 and counting. He's 8 of 12 with the 3 touchdowns.
It's really incredible what he's doing. I mean, he told us last night he's still learning this system. He's not completely comfortable, and yet he does a lot of things well, whether he's under center or in the gun or on the move. He's a very accurate passer. Clearly, he understands the protections and defenses, and as I said at the top of the show, what he does and what he brings is experience and leadership, something this team surely missed.
Just 33 seconds to go in this first half. And the Titans try to put a stop to a 6-game road losing streak. That dates back to last October. Baronis with the kickoff. And angles it, trying to keep it away from Cribbs.
Kickoff out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 40-yard line.
They'll put it out at the 40-yard line once again. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Browns with time running out here in the first half. Wednesday on Showtime, it's JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, Warren Sapp, cable's longest running show inside the NFL every Wednesday on Showtime. As we have talked about in our earlier games this season, happiness ensues on Inside the NFL.
Always.
Colt McCoy, 11 of 17, 121 yards, but has only 2 field goals to show for it. Flag is thrown. Play was blown dead.
Number 73 offense, 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
Well, it's the left tackle, Joe Thomas.
Well, it's been a consistent theme today, Marv. You can't miss them when they're this wide open. Fumbled snaps, it's been sloppy. You get some pressure, you let somebody else's mistake become your mistake, you throw into double coverage. They're just not good enough right now to be able to overcome all the mistakes.
Hardesty in the backfield, standing next to McCoy. Hardesty has played most of this first half. That pass through his hands. Pat Shermer going with Hardesty over Peyton Hillis for a good portion of this first half. Hardesty had the good game in the absence of Hillis, who sat out last week with the strep throat.
Well, you think about Peyton Hillis and how he's not been utilized here in the first half, Marv. A little bit of a surprise, but they've got to get something going. They've got to get the ball out on the perimeter to the wide receivers.
Cribbs to the left and Massaquoi to the right. And he goes underneath to the tight end, Watson. And he fumbles. Recovered by the Titans. Werner on the recovery and picked up yardage. Algernon Werner, second-year player out of UCLA, after the fumble recovery, went for 17, and Tennessee in position to put up some more points.
Well, he never feels Cortland Finnegan out in front of him. That's because it's zone coverage and not man coverage, and Watson's got to know that. He's got to throttle that thing down. He runs right into the corner. He makes a great hit, and Werner is right there to scoop it up.
And now the ruling that he was down by contact, which cuts off the run after the fumble.
And you can see as soon as he catches the ball, Cortland Finnegan is right there to make the hit. Now watch the ball come out after he hits the ground. And that's the right call by the officials.
Also, Cleveland maintains possession. It's Watson down by contact, an incomplete pass. So the Browns get it back. McCoy throwing on the run. Completes to Robisky at the marker as this first half comes to a close, and you can hear the boos here at Cleveland Brown Stadium. That was a 14-yard pass play. So that is the end of the first half. It's all Titans. They lead the Browns 21-6. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We are back in Cleveland where the Browns have been booed the last few minutes. They're trailing the Titans by the count of 21-6. Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon. So once again, Rich, Cleveland in a position where they have to come from behind. That's been their story over the first 3 games of the season. And they're contending with a quarterback, a veteran, Matt Hasselbeck, who has been on his game in the first half.
Yeah, Matt Hasselbeck has looked really good. They haven't gotten Chris Johnson going, but Matt Hasselbeck carrying this team with his right arm. I think Cleveland has to open things up with this offense in the second half. Maybe some no huddle, maybe some empty backfield sets. Let Colt McCoy attack. They played much better late in the game last week when they went no huddle.
All right, let's take a look right now at the NFL Mobile Recap presented by Verizon. And this was the first of 3 touchdown passes from Matt Hasselbeck. This 12-yarder to tight end Craig Stevens to give Tennessee a 7-3 lead. And it is a 21-6 advantage as we head to the second half.
A couple things jump out at you, Mara, when you look at these numbers. Look at the yards per completion right here for the Tennessee Titans. And how about time of possession? Incredible. The Cleveland Browns have had the ball for 19 minutes and yet just 2 field goals. Not good. They've not been good on the early downs and just 3 for 9 on third down.
Here's Phil Dawson with the kickoff. And here's the Titans' second kickoff return of the season. Mark Mariani, who had not been able to get out of the end zone over the first 3 games, goes for 24.
And look at those numbers right there for Matt Hasselbeck. I mean, very efficient. 8 of 12, 194 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ball's coming out of his hands quick, making good decisions. He's a very accurate thrower.
Chris Johnson in the backfield. They line up in an offset I. Johnson, aside from that 25-yard run early, has not been able to get much going. That's a pickup of 2. DeQuell Jackson, the middle linebacker, got the wraps on Chris Johnson.
I think this is an important series for the Browns. You know, when you're struggling offensively, the defense has to do something. Get a 3 and out, get a turnover, give your offense a short field.
Damian Williams, wide to the left. He is starting for the injured Kenny Britt. Hasselbeck underneath for Johnson. They just want to try to get him going. He's rushed 8 times for 43 yards, but as I mentioned, 25 of those 43 came on that one burst. 5-yard pickup right here on the pass play.
Now you look at the big plays, 2 completions of 50 yards today. The first Titans quarterback to do that since Steve McNair, going all the way back to 2005. And that's the problem the Browns are having right now. Where are the big plays? Tennessee has all of them in this game.
Third down and 3. Good protection of Hasselbeck. Off the mark. The rush came late. Pass intended for Jared Cook. And it's 3 and out for Tennessee.
Well, Cleveland is going to bring some pressure off the edge. He holds a pretty good job on the offensive line. He's waiting for his tight end, Cook, to come out of the break. And as a receiver, you have to be aware of that. The quarterback doesn't have time. I have to get out of my route and get my head around quicker.
Brett Kern back behind his 15-yard line and punting away to Joshua Cribbs. Tough one to field as it kept veering over to the far side. We'll be back to Cleveland in a moment. Back in Cleveland, and right after that punt, there was a late flag thrown, blocking the back by Greg Little of the Browns.
Hard.
You're going to see at the top of your screen, right there is the clip, right at the end of the play. Rookie mistake.
Cribbs making the catch at the 17, covered by Cortland Finnegan, picked up 6.
You've got to get Josh Cribbs more involved. He's a playmaker, and I think he's in there for a reason. You want to get the ball in his hands. I just think he needs to be more involved in the offense. Marv, they're struggling right now. They need big plays, and Josh Cribbs is certainly capable of that.
2nd and 4. McCoy could not find anyone, and he is taken down at the line of scrimmage.
Go back and you look at the first half possessions of the Cleveland Browns, and it's not good. You got a bunch of punts, and some 3 and outs, and of course drives that had to end in field goals because they weren't able to convert some 3rd downs. We talked about the struggles they've had on the early downs, trying to get these receivers more involved in this offense.
Browns come at a 2-1, lost that home opener to Cincinnati. The winning touchdown scored by the Bengals on that quick snap. It caught the Browns, then they won the last 2 at Indianapolis, last week here at home against Miami. The catch by Massaquoi, close to the marker, met by Witherspoon.
Sometimes you can hear a good hit rather than see it. Lucky to hold on to that ball. And you look at this offense, Marvin, you start charting where all the balls are going. They're going between the numbers to the crossing routes, the tight ends, the shallow crosses by the receivers. They can't get the ball outside the numbers to the wide receivers. They don't get your attention. They don't scare you with their speed or their playmaking ability. The problem is right now they're not winning a lot of the one-on-one battles.
It is very close and inches short. That collision that we just saw between a couple of University of Georgia guys, Mohamed Massaquoi and Will Witherspoon. Witherspoon has been in the league for 10 years and Massaquoi for 3. So the punting unit will come back on for the 4th time. It's Brad Maynard. He is their 3rd punter following Reggie Hodges going down with an Achilles tendon, and then Richmond McGee suffered a herniated disc in the warm-ups on opening day and hung into punt, but had a very rough afternoon.
You look at that Cleveland offense right now, Marv, they are not playing with much confidence. You don't see it in the running game, you don't see it in the passing game, and you don't see it from the quarterback.
Mark Mariani gets out to the 42-43 yard line, stopped by Usama Young. 45-yard punt and a 7-yard return, and again a flag is thrown.
During a return, illegal block in the back, number 95 of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well,
Timeout.
Tennessee last week hit with 11 penalties. They're among the leaders of that department. William Hayes called on the penalty.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. KFC Popcorn Chicken. Today tastes so good. And by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto.
Well, the wind coming our way from Lake Erie on what would be labeled a brisk day here in Cleveland. Not a good day to this point for the Browns. Chris Johnson gets the call. Tennessee back in possession. DeQuell Jackson, the middle linebacker, on the tackle.
Yeah, Chris Johnson really struggling right now. He's at the lowest yards per carry of any of the 35 running backs in the league with more than 25 carries. Only 3 of his 43 rushes coming into today's game have gone for first downs. His longest run prior to today, 9 yards and no touchdowns. I know he's frustrated, but that's what happens. He's missed so much time in training camp. I just think he's still trying to find his rhythm.
And once again, they're able to tie up Johnson. And right here, we'll check in with JB back in our New York studios.
You know what? I don't know if that was a relative or not, but Pittsburgh getting it done on the ground, Shannon.
13 plays, 74 yards. Rashard Mendenhall, 3-yard touchdown run. Steelers are back in it. 10-7, Texans.
All right, let's take it back to the fellas there. Tennessee at Cleveland. Marv and Rich.
All right, guys, 3rd down and 5 coming up. Hasselbeck able to work effectively out of the shotgun. Lavelle Hawkins, the 4-year man from the University of California, picks up the first down. That goes for 20 in all. Dimitri Patterson up to make the tackle. Leroy Harris, the Titans left guard. 5-year man from North Carolina State. Obviously hurting. Take a break. Training staff checking out the left guard Leroy Harris, who's forced to the sideline, replaced by Fernando Velasco, a 2nd-year player out of University of Georgia. 5 minutes gone by in the 3rd quarter. Again to the ground. Johnson off the toss. They're trying to get the running game going. The Titans ranked last in the league in rushing, and Chris Johnson accepts the blame. He has struggled, obviously, but the Titans feel that eventually there will be a breakout game. It has not happened to this point here this afternoon.
It's incredible you say last in the league, and the yards haven't come easy for him. And when you rush for over 4,600 yards your first 3 seasons, the yards are going to be harder to come by because you have everybody's undivided attention.
2nd down and 4, and Johnson gets inside the 30 for a first down. Phil Taylor on the cover, up 5 for Johnson, so he has actually rushed for 60 yards, which is now a season high.
Yeah, he's the focus of the run game each week, and you look at this offense. I think it's just a matter of time before they get the running game going. You've got a very experienced runner, a great offensive line, and 2 former All-World Hall of Fame coaches to make sure that happens. Bruce Matthews, who coaches the offensive line, and Mike Munchak, their head coach.
Johnson following the blocker on a sweep. Sheldon Brown on the stop. 5 more for Johnson. Taba Rubin also involved. Tennessee Titans at 2-1 on the season. In a tie with the Texans for the lead in the AFC South, which has dramatically changed with Peyton Manning out of action. Colts at 0-3. Both Houston and Tennessee look to be improved. Now Javon Ringer in the backfield. Fake the end around, and this is Hasselbeck directing traffic as he tumbles his way across the 20 and has a first down.
Yeah, really a nice job. They want to throw the screen, and what happens is when Hasselbeck comes out, he's going to fake the ball action to Ringer and then the end around. Now as he comes to his right, he realizes that he's better off carrying the ball himself. So the wily, cagey veteran calls off the screen and handles the ball. That's pretty good by Matt Hasselbeck.
Wily and cagey.
That's what you get with a guy that's played as many snaps as Matt Hasselbeck.
Ringer not able to get to the edge to make that turn. Sheard and Jackson are there to cut him off, a loss of a yard. Javon Ringer in his third season out of Michigan State. He's an Ohio guy, played his high school ball in his hometown of Dayton.
Well, the one thing that's been missing from this running game are the explosive runs that we're so accustomed to seeing with Chris Johnson. At least 3, 4, and 5 yard carries, but no big runs.
Now the tight end, Jared Cook, is put wide to the left. Pass intended for Cook. Almost intercepted on the tip. Sheldon Brown on the coverage. The starting tight end, Craig Stevens, who caught a touchdown earlier, has been sidelined after injuring his ribs, and we have not seen him back in the lineup. Andy Rooney has become an American icon, and he is about to make his last regular appearance on 60 Minutes. You won't want to miss it tonight. Only CBS. This is the 10th play of the drive for the Titans. Just under 7 minutes to play in the third. Tennessee with a 21-6 lead on Cleveland. Hasselbeck going end zone. Just off, intended for Nate Washington on a post pattern.
Right, just missed him there. And really a nice route. You're going to watch Washington. He starts to the corner and then comes back across the safety's face. You see TJ Ward there. Boy, they just missed this one. And that was one of the things that Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, told us last night. The thing that's impressed him most about Matt Hasselbeck is his ability to throw the ball down the field. Coming from that West Coast offense, you think about all those short and intermediate throws.
This will be a 39-yard attempt for Baronis. Rob Baronis makes it 6 of 8 on the season, and Tennessee adds to the lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible. And by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state.
The Tennessee Titans just completed an 11-play drive, 46 yards, just under 5 minutes of possession. Baronis with the 39-yard field goal. 17 unanswered points for the Titans. And they now lead at 24-6, just under 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Cribbs muffs it, comes up with it, runs into his old man. An adventure for Joshua Cribbs. Jordan Babineau makes the stop, just a 15-yard return for Cribbs.
Well, Cleveland's got to get something going here in the third quarter, and you wonder what else could possibly go wrong. It's starting to rain a little bit. They're behind 24-6, and now they've got to throw the football.
I apologize for the audio problems as they do throw, and fullback Owen Marisik able to come up with it, 5 yards on the play.
I thought I was just boring you.
You pulled the plug on me, and
I just thought
I resent that.
I didn't know if you didn't have anything interesting to say, or you just
That's
tired.
possible.
You're just getting tired of me standing next to you.
That's possible, actually.
I mean, look at that, 0 points. They're really struggling. 3 first downs to try and get something going as Pat Shurmur looks at his call sheet. He's trying to find a way to get his quarterback some confidence. Get him going again here in the third quarter.
McCoy has a 3rd down and 3, swings it out. And Hardesty battles his way for a first down. Montario Hardesty on the catch and then picks up the first down. An 8-yard hookup. What do you feel is going on with the lack of playing time for Peyton Hillis, coming off missing a game last week because of strep throat? Is it possible that someone is annoyed with Peyton Hillis?
I can't imagine. I mean, we talked to him on Friday.
Hillis is back on the field. Nice catch made at midfield by Cribbs. And it's a 15-yard pass play for a first down. Griffin and McCourty combined to make the stop, but it's kind of unusual. I mean, Hardesty had a nice game last week filling in for Hillis.
You get a look at Cribbs right here, and I think he's got possession of that. You're right, Mar. They've got to get the big back going. I mean, I think he plays his best football when he gets a lot of touches. He's one of those backs that can kind of wear you down during the course of a game.
Got the touch right there. Dave Ball made the stop. Let's check in with JB in our New York studio.
Marv, Shannon, Romo's had a good game up until now, right?
Yes, and they say revenge is a dish served in the form of an INT. And the former Cowboy, Bobby Carpenter, picks off his former teammate, Tony Romo, returns this ball 35 yards to the house. They're back in it, JB, 27-10. Cowboys.
7:01 left in the third to play. Back to Marv and Rich.
All right, guys, 6 straight completions for McCoy. Make it no. It is dropped by Hardesty.
Well, they have not looked good. You know, they're making the simple plays look difficult. You look at Colt McCoy, he wants to work in the middle of the field. And he's pointing to himself. You've got to put that on him, and better job with the location of the throw, and a better job by the back making a catch.
Peyton Hillis back on the sideline with Montario Hardesty. In the backfield, just under 3.5 remaining in this third quarter. Cribbs is flanked wide right side at the top of your screen. McCoy's pass is caught for a first down. The tight end Benjamin Watson gets inside the 30. It's an 18-yard advance. Barrett Ruud, middle linebacker, on the tackle.
Well, we talked to Pat Shurmur, and he says that he really likes Benjamin Watson. He's grown on him, led the team last year in receptions, again leading him this year, and he's just got a great feel for the type of coverage, whether it's man or zone. He knows how to find the holes in the defense.
Second year with Cleveland after 6 as a member of the New England Patriots. Play action. McCoy took a hit as he threw, and it's picked off. Should not have thrown the ball as Jordan Babineau came up with the interception. Babineau with a nice move, and he will go all the way. Cortland Finnegan with the block on McCoy, and McCoy, who took a shot, threw it short, intercepted by Babineau.
Yeah, that's a throw you can't make. As you see, he gets flush from the pocket. He steps up. He wants to hit Hillis down the middle of the field. Now Hillis is going to work all the way back across the field. And right as he gets ready to throw it, he gets hit. But Babineau waiting for that throw. There's no way you're going to be able to fit that one in. And he'd see him tiptoe down the sidelines. Poor angles by the offensive line and not very good effort to try and get Babineau corralled. Well, that was an ugly play by the Browns. It's not one you want to put on film, and you can see Colt McCoy over there talking to his quarterback coach, Mark Whipple.
Babineau took it 97 yards for the touchdown. It was Baronis. Jordan Babineau, who started the last 2 games with Chris Hope injured, so Babineau was the starter at strong safety. 8-year man out of Southern Arkansas, and as you saw, second interception return of his career for a touchdown.
Well, the problem that the Browns have right now, Marv, is when they can't run the ball and they can't keep it close, and they get behind and they have to throw it, they can't. They're just not good enough. They don't have enough playmakers at wide receiver. Robisky and Massaquoi have been a bit of a disappointment. The players that they have right now that they're most comfortable throwing the ball to are Benjamin Watson and Peyton Hillis. And you can just tell when you look at the footwork of Colt McCoy that he's not comfortable with the receivers. He doesn't trust them. His eyes come right back inside, and he wants to work the tight ends to the back. And you look at these receivers, Massaquoi and Robisky, both in their second year. They've shown some flashes, but they've lacked consistency.
Meanwhile, the rain continues to fall here at Cleveland Browns Stadium, which makes things even more difficult for the Browns, trailing now 31-6.
Well, this one's gotten away from them and just have not played well. Turnovers make it even more difficult against a good defense like the Titans.
Cribbs, the deep man. And the kick is short. They're keeping it away from Cribbs. Picked up by Marisic, the fullback, and he gets across the 30-yard line. Patrick Bailey makes the stop. Well, once again, the enormously popular feature that Rich and his staff have come up with. It's called Going Deep. What do you have for us today?
Marv, I know you look forward to this every week. The McCourty brothers are the 10th set of twins to play in the National Football League. They played at Rutgers together. Jason on the left, his junior season. Jason's brother Devin is a defensive back, as we know, for the New England Patriots. You and I saw him last week. Devin and Jason McCourty, just the 10th set of twins to play in the National Football League.
Identical twin brothers. And brother Devin made it to the Pro Bowl last season. Other twins to play in the NFL at the same time. Going back to the 48-49 season, you remember Hal and Herb Schoner.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like another Titan is down. So, well, we have the break right here. As you can see, it's Mark Mariani, the return man. Let's send it back to JB and Shannon in our New York studio.
Marvin Rich, what a debut for Arian Foster.
Yes, JB, if you play a West Coast type team, play for the cutback. If they let Arian Foster cut back 42 yards into the end zone, over 140 yards and a tub, Arian Foster is back.
23 carries, 141 yards, and a touch indeed. Marv and Rich.
All right, play resuming with McCoy throwing. Massaquoi makes the catch short of a first down. It's good for 7. Only the third reception for Massaquoi, who was met immediately by Witherspoon.
Yeah, you see him in their quick hurry-up offense, and this worked real well for him late last week in that win over Miami.
Well, it was caught by Little, then dropped. They will rule it incomplete. Greg Little, right at the marker, could not hang on.
Well, he's fortunate. I thought he caught that ball clean and got to put it away. These corners, a guy like Cortland Finnegan will do a great job getting it out.
What you got?
Third down and 3.
Squeeze.
Just under 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. And the pass handled by Watson right at the marker. It's a first down. He was hit by Barrett Rue, the middle linebacker, who has had a nagging shoulder injury, had to sit out several plays last week, but back in the lineup here today. Again, McCoy underneath. Peyton Hillis taking a pounding as he holds onto the ball, and Finnegan was involved. We talked about that strep throat that sidelined Peyton Hillis last week. He said he had no energy. He watched the game on TV. He was so tired that he fell asleep. Were we doing that game? You know, we're capable of having that effect on people. Like Dave Ball was shaken up. We're setting update records here this afternoon. Back to JB and Shannon.
To show you how Andy Dalton, despite 2 picks, hanging in there for Cincy.
They call him the Red Rifle, but we thought it was rust. But he put some oil on it, finds Jermaine Gresham, 17 yards. They're back in the ball game.
Marv, no way you can put anybody to sleep, not with your yes. Back to Marv and Rich.
Actually, we were trying. It wasn't us, but we were trying to figure out who the announcers were. And Peyton wouldn't say.
How about Shannon? He's pretty good with those updates.
He's just.
I don't know who's writing his material. It's pretty good, though.
Unbelievable.
Well, I've been really impressed with this Tennessee defense. You know, they're not overly complicated from a scheme standpoint. They just play a handful of fronts and coverages. They just want to line up and be sound fundamentally, get after you physically. I mean, they play hard. Got a lot of guys that they can roll through there. Dave Ball has had an outstanding game. He's gotten good pressure off the edge. You can't afford to lose him.
Dave Ball over to the sideline. 7-year man out of UCLA. Short set and the completion to Cribbs. Nearly beat McCourty, who was able to tie him up. 16-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, you get a good ISO on Josh Cribbs. He is so big, strong, and physical that corners don't want to get up on him, so they want to play a little bit more off coverage. You see Jason McCourty there showing Josh Cribbs some respect up top.
First down at the 35. Hillis with the catch, and someone took a pretty hard hit. It was Jarrell Casey.
You're on the opposite of a Peyton Hillis hit. You're usually going to get the short end of it. He's running a little Texas route, a little angle route, and he seems to always be falling forward at the end of the play.
2nd and 4. Inside handoff. And Hillis refusing to go down as he picks up a first down. He went for 5. And that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. It's the Tennessee Titans 31, Cleveland Browns 6. As this third quarter comes to a close, we'll return to Cleveland after this message and a word from your local station. Cleveland 24 unanswered points by the Titans.
Yeah, and you look at that ball control. Tennessee hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but they've made the most of them. Cleveland, meanwhile, has had plenty of opportunities, but have really struggled converting third downs.
McCoy out of the gun. It is completed. Massaquoi inside the 20-yard line, picked up 7. Jarrell Casey made the stop on Massaquoi. Brings up a 2nd down and 3. It has been all Tennessee. Just 2 field goals for the Browns. Hillis on the reception, and he is right at the marker.
You know, the one thing I've noticed out of Colt McCoy today, operating mostly out of the shotgun, is that he never gets a chance to set his feet and throw in rhythm. He's always having to slide, move. It just seems like the timing and the rhythm in the passing game with the quarterback and receivers is simply not there.
That pass play just short of a first down. This is the 10th play of the possession. Hardesty is back. Coming on for Hillis. Hardesty off the swing pass. Not able to make the turn as Barrett Ruud was able to guide him out of bounds.
Well, they're in 4-down territory. Obviously, they'll go for it here on 4th down. And you talk about this Tennessee defense, Marvin. I think their red zone defense, to me, has been outstanding. I went back and watched the film last week. An incredible goal line stand against the Broncos at a 4th and 1. A big reason why they have the top-ranked defense in football, and Barrett Ruud has been a great addition in that middle coming over from Tampa.
Rich, they are number 1 defensively in the red zone. Ranked number 1 in terms of fewest yards allowed. Second in fewest points allowed. Little was tripped up, but did pick up a first down. He goes for 5 on that pass play. Browns in a situation, they just like to put up 6 somewhere along the line.
Yeah, you want to have something positive happen. They've put a good drive here together now, and they've been down here a couple times today. They've had to settle for field goals. Just watch Colt McCoy. I'd like to see him under center more. I think that would really help him with his footwork.
Hardesty gets inside the 5. They went with what they call the pony backfield with the combination of Hillis and Hardesty. Again, Barrett Ruud on the tackle. 8-yard hookup.
A really nice job. They're going to run the screen and then just dump it off. But watch the 2 guards, the guard and the get out in front of it. Excuse me there as I clear the screen, but Hardesty, I think he would have been better served going outside rather than working back up inside where all those blue jerseys were.
2nd and 3. McCoy's pass over the head of the tight end Evan Moore.
Well, they love to put Moore out there. He's so tall. They put him on these smaller corners. They love to throw the little fade route.
And a flag was thrown.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55. Offense, 15-yard penalty, and the down will count.
Well, it's called on the Browns center, Alex Mack, Pro Bowler last season. And that sets it back.
Just watch right there, left edge of your screen, a little pushing going on. Alex Mack, and then he swings at Carl Klug. Boy, it's those type of mistakes, Marv, that have absolutely been critical today and have cost this team a chance to score points in this part of the field.
3rd down and 18 for the Browns. McCoy runs it out of bounds at the 10. So he runs for 9. Colt McCoy in his 2nd season out of Texas. He's the Browns' 10th starting quarterback in 13 seasons.
That's a problem, isn't it?
It's the way things have gone for Cleveland.
You don't have production and stability at that position in this business, it's hard to win.
Again, Hillis and Hardesty in the backfield. Now Hardesty will line up as a wide receiver. Robisky in the slot to the left. McCoy wide open. Tight end Benjamin Watson. Kind of a sardonic roar from the crowd as the Browns finally score a touchdown.
Well, that's the matchup they wanted. The tight end, he's walked out on Morgan. This is the one that they want. Just look at Derek Morgan. He's actually lined up, and he's got to cover their best tight end down the middle of the field. And Colt McCoy knows it the whole way. He's just going to give Benjamin Watson a chance to go by Derek Morgan. That's a lot to ask of the defensive end to be able to cover the tight end down the middle of the field.
Dawson for the extra point. So McCoy throws his 6th touchdown pass of the season for Watson, his 2nd TD reception. Keep up with the NFL when you're on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Titans preparing for the possibility of an onside kick. But it is booted away. And they'll bring it out to the 20. Rain continues to fall here in Cleveland. Tennessee up 31-13.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint. All football, no limits, only from Sprint. Ink, the small business card from Chase. Make your mark with ink. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Back in Cleveland, the Tennessee Titans with a 31-13 lead on the Cleveland Browns. Titans, after losing their season opener at Jacksonville, won their last 2 games. Here's Johnson finding a hole and reaching out across the 25, met by Scott Fujita.
Well, after that last timeout, Marv, we kept an eye on the sidelines in Tennessee. You could see Cortland Finnegan, Jerry Gray right there to the right of the screen, the defensive coordinator. He brings over Barrett Ruud, not at all happy with that scoring drive. He is very demanding of these players, very detail-oriented. I think he's clearly raised the level of expectation. I think you're going to see a more disciplined defense, but he was not at all happy with the fact they gave up that score.
Once again, Johnson. Nice run out to the 40 for a first down. Picked up 13. T.J. Ward, Mike Adams on the stop. Defensive coordinator Jerry Gray in his first season with the Titans. Last year, secondary coach with Seattle. And as you know, Richie was a 4-time Pro Bowl defensive back with the LA Rams, the Houston Oilers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think I threw him an interception or 2 somewhere along the line. He was a very, very good player. Great college player at the University of Texas as well. And I think he's a great football coach. He's had a lot of success everywhere he's been.
No wonder he was so friendly to you last night.
He told us all we need to know.
Delayed handoff to Johnson. This time tries the left side. Fujita making the tackle.
I think it's an important time right now for Chris Johnson. They've got to get him going, and he still looks a little tentative at times. And this is in a good point in the game now where you can get him the carries and get his legs back under him. And as Mike Munchak told us last time, this is really like his 4th preseason game. He missed a lot of valuable time in the preseason.
Although the numbers, 16 carries, 85 yards. I mean, he's headed for a 100-yard game. Not bad. He had that 25-yard run early. Here's Hasselbeck airing it out, and it is overthrown. Intended for Damian Williams, covered by Joe Hayden. Now Johnson, Chris Johnson, was a holdout and then signed that 6-year, $56 million contract with $30 million guaranteed and returned finally after they settled in early September. However, over the first 3 games, as we have been talking about, carried 46 times for only 98 yards, an average of 2.1.
You wonder where his conditioning is. I mean, you miss all those reps in the preseason, and he hasn't had a lot of success through the first 3 weeks of the season. And again, the big explosive runs just not there.
Hasselbeck intended for Williams. It's picked off. Was he inbounds? Mike Adams, the free safety, on the interception. It is a clean pick, and then he stepped out, so the Browns will get it back. Mike Adams with that interception, his 2nd of this season, had one last week against Miami that wrapped things up. So the Browns back in possession, and McCoy just throws it away. Good pressure by the front 4 of Tennessee, led by Sean Smith.
Well, they want to throw the quick screen up top to Josh Cripps. Watch the corner, Cortland Finnegan. He is right there to snuff it out, and so McCoy has nowhere to go with the ball. That's a good job by Finnegan, route reading and recognizing the situation. Very smart corner.
2nd down and 10. Cribs flank wide to the left, Massaquoi to the right. Hardesty in the backfield. Short set by McCoy. And not much there. Benjamin Watson took that hit from Finnegan. Picked up about a yard.
You get the sense sometimes in watching Colt McCoy. I have the benefit up here in the booth, Marv, as you know, I have an ISO monitor, so I'm able to go back and look at his eyes a little bit sometimes. And sometimes he's late with his eyes. Sometimes the progressions, as you get more and more comfortable in this offense, you're able to skip number 1 and go right to number 2 and 3 because you recognize the coverage.
And again, McCoy goes short, and it is dropped. Hardesty not able to hang on. That's his third drop of the day.
Hardesty needs to spend some time after practice catching balls. But as a quarterback, you realize that you've got to be very specific when you throw to these backs. You've got to put it on them. You can't even ask them to bend. They're not comfortable catching the ball in front of them low when they have a defender. But there's no excuse for that. As you mentioned, Marv, Hardesty has got to make these catches.
Once again, Cribbs to the left, Massaquoi to the right. McCoy out of the shotgun formation. It is broken up, but a flag down. Intended for Massaquoi, took a pretty good jolt from McCourty.
Oh, that was pretty good coverage, didn't you? I mean, it looked like he got there just as the ball was getting there.
There is no foul on the play for defensive pass interference. First down, Tennessee.
So it is on McCourty. And we will step away with 8.5 remaining in the fourth. Strange talking about Hawaii in the unseasonably cold temperature here. It's an end around. Chris Johnson ends up with the ball. He went right to left. Actually reversed field. And Hasselbeck with the fake. And then Johnson.
And this is back. Yeah, this is what scares you as a defense because it's speed. That's really what concerns you. I mean, he can go from a standstill to top end speed in a matter of a few strides. And I think it's always important when you play a back like Chris Johnson, you can't underestimate his speed, but even more importantly, you can't overestimate your own speed.
Lost a couple. It's a second down and 12. Not much for Johnson as he is turned back once again. This time Jabal Sheard and Scott Paxson combined. And once again, let's send it to JB and Shannon in our New York studios.
Marvin Rich, watch Calvin Johnson get it done in traffic.
He's one of the 3 best receivers in the National Football League, JB. He's 6'4" with a 41-inch vertical around 3 guys. They call that making him smell deodorant. Ref raised his arms like that, Jay. That's a touchdown. 30-24 Du Bois.
Hey, Marv, tell Rich that Shannon's granddaddy had a lot to do with his great one-liners. Back to Marv and Rich.
Oh, I see. That explains it.
As Shannon thinks that Calvin Johnson's top 3. Chris Carter doesn't even think he's top 5. I tend to think I tend to go with Shannon more. I think Calvin Johnson's a special player.
That pass intended for Jared Cook.
One of the few errant throws we've seen today out of Matt Hasselbeck. Marv, he has looked really, really good.
He has been so efficient. The 3 touchdown passes thrown in the first half. 5th punt for Brett Kern. He has been able to keep it away, although a flag is thrown back at midfield. "32-yard punt, but it does the job." Went out at the
Holding.
9.
Number 52, the kicking team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Colin McCarthy was called for that holding penalty. Coming up next, the Broncos go up against the Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. Patriots take on the Raiders, or you'll see the Dolphins and the Chargers. Check your local listings.
Nobody's been able to slow down Aaron Rodgers and that Packers offense. I think that Oakland-New England game is going to be a great one, Marv. You and I got a chance to see New England last week. They look great on offense, but they can't stop anybody defensively.
And the question is, will they bounce back from that loss up in Buffalo? How about the Buffalo Bills, America's team? McCoy's pass for Cribbs broken up.
Well, we might get a chance to see the first-round pick out of the University of Washington, Jake Locker. This is one of the benefits, Marv, when you have a 31-13 lead. Get some snaps for the youngster. He had a very, very good preseason, and they're real excited about his future here in Tennessee.
Massaquoi on the completion for a first down. It's an 11-yard hookup. Jason McCourty made the stop.
Well, I was a little surprised the Browns didn't play better today. I really thought they gained some confidence from that dramatic come-from-behind win last week in that 2-minute drill against Miami.
McCoy off the pump and broken up a strip of Greg Little by Will Witherspoon. Yes, the Browns came from behind with about 2:40 left. McCoy leading the Browns on a 13-play, 80-yard game-winning drive.
Just watch Colt McCoy. Watch the first pump here. Yeah, there's just so much uncertainty in the passing game right now. And then talking to him the other day, you know, he said on some routes, the receivers, it's man coverage, and they're running the zone concept of it in terms of sitting down and not coming back out of the cut. And they're just not on the same page. They're missing too many easy throws.
Second down play, and that was almost intercepted by Michael Griffin, the Pro Bowl free safety.
Well, I look at Colt McCoy's feet, and that's where the problem. And then we talked to him on Friday about this, and he says, my feet tell me everything. And if I'm in rhythm, I rarely miss a throw. Well, he's not been in rhythm today. How many extra hitches has he taken? Look at him, he just keeps on hopping. Rather than stepping up in the pocket, trusting the protection, and letting your feet tell you where to go with the football.
Now that stat line really doesn't tell the story. It has not been a good day, obviously, for Colt McCoy. Able to avoid the sack and completes for a first down to Massaquoi. Tackle made by Griffin. 13 yards on the play.
Well, we go back and look at the footwork again, Marvin. He's all over the place, sliding to his right, moving back to his left. His feet get him out of a lot of trouble, and it seems like he makes so many plays that are unscripted. And it's hard to do that in this league.
The completion to Hillis up to midfield. Is that what you guys refer to as happy feet?
Yeah, it was too much movement. I really think that with a young quarterback like Colt McCoy in this system, I'd have him spend more time under center. I think too much time in the gun. That's where he's most comfortable. That's where he spent all his time in college.
McCoy able to throw on the run. Little with the bobble, but held on for a Browns first down. An 11-yard play. Rude and Witherspoon make the stop.
Well, you see Little right in the middle of the field, double clutching it. These guys all need to spend more time. They have a machine at the facility. It's called a jugs machine that shoots some balls after practice so you can save the quarterback's arm. All these receivers need to spend more time on the jugs machine next week. We've seen too many balls go in and out of the hands of the receivers.
And another Tennessee player is down. The numbers on Colt McCoy, 35 for 52. It's a career high in terms of passing yards, 306. But Cleveland has just 13 points to show. That's it, 2 field goals and the late touchdown.
And that's not who they are right now as an offense. I mean, they've got to be able to run the football, be physical there, and of course continue to develop and evolve as a more of a passing offense. But right now, they just if they have to throw it more than 30 times in a game, they really struggle.
Rich, the injured player, is Will Witherspoon.
He's had a really good game. He's made a lot of plays, done a good job rushing the passer, playing in space. Just watch him. He's going to come in from your right side, and his head's going to snap back just a little bit right there. He's a tough guy, though.
10-year man out of Georgia, second season with the Titans after spending time with Carolina, Philadelphia, St. Louis. McCoy again underneath, another drop. And Montario Hardesty is hearing it from the crowd. Unofficially, we have him for 4 drops.
You got to get him out of there. I mean, you've got a back in Peyton Hillis. If I'm not mistaken, he was second in last year on this team with 61 catches. This is 4 drops for Hardesty. You've got to get Peyton Hillis back in the game. He's put too many on the ground. Hillis had 61 catches a year ago.
Second down and 10.
He doesn't want to throw it to him.
He has Massaquoi for the first down inside the 20-yard line.
That's a really nice catch by Mohamed Massaquoi. He looks a little woozy.
Massaquoi caught the winning touchdown last week with 43 seconds remaining. And apparently a challenge. Question is, was Colton McCoy past the line of scrimmage?
It looks like he's about the 40-yard line. It's close. Really close. He's got to be all the way beyond it. Now, I'm not so sure if that back foot wasn't on the line. This is a better look at it. You see the ball, it's right at about the 40-yard line from the all-22, and you're going to watch him step up, move to his left. And let's see if his entire body, you look right there. It's like that body isn't in front before, as that ball is coming out. I always found that hard sometimes. You're moving around, you're running around for your life, and all of a sudden, as you're getting closer to the line of scrimmage, it's not as if you don't remember, but you just kind of lose track of where you're at. You've got these 300-pound guys chasing you.
How many times do you think you did it during the course?
Oh, just once maybe. Just once. I'll have to have our researchers look that up, but well, you can see right there. It's a good look right there. See the 40-yard line? And that ball is still in his hands. I think this one's probably going to come back.
Tennessee getting the word from upstairs to challenge that play.
Yeah, nice job by the group upstairs, and Mike Munchak has done a really nice job. I was really impressed when we had the opportunity, Marv, to sit down with him last night. He's got a really good sense of how he wants to coach this football team, changes he wants to make, and talked about the tradition of this great organization and how that was important for him to make sure that the players were aware of the great history.
The quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 5-yard penalty plus a loss of down. Third down.
So the rule on the play, you can't have 1 foot touching the line of scrimmage, and it appeared that McCoy did have a foot perhaps touching the 40, but you have to be completely behind the line. So they will bring it back. Coming up next, it's the Broncos and the Super Bowl champs, the Green Bay Packers, Patriots, and Raiders, or the Dolphins and the Chargers, as they say. Check your local listings. It is set back to a 3rd and 15. This one has been all Tennessee. At one stretch, 24 unanswered points. Up here, 31-13. It's a bullet thrown by McCoy, caught by Little, but short of the first down. That's good for 8. Finnegan on the stop.
And they're not backing off. You're going to see them bring the pressure. You see the safety. He comes right up inside, and Colt McCoy's got to hold it to the last minute, and Babineau gets the hit. Tennessee continuing to bring pressure.
Peyton Hillis in the backfield. Broken up, almost picked off. McCourty had a shot at it.
Well, we got a package. Never a good thing, a drop pass this package. And, of course, a lot of them, Marv, as you pointed out, have been Montario Hardesty. But everyone has kind of chipped in, and it's not been a very good performance. Not a clean performance offensively. This is going to be one of the painful ones as you go back into the facility tomorrow and watch the tape. Plenty of blame to go around for the Cleveland Browns.
And with Tennessee taking over on downs, Jake Locker, first-round draft pick out of the University of Washington, the 8th overall selection, takes over for Matt Hasselbeck. And they give us to Johnson, Chris Johnson, gang tackle. So for Jake Locker, it is his NFL debut.
I really liked him coming out. Played a lot of football at the University of Washington. My old quarterback coach, Steve Sarkisian, was his head coach, and he came from a pro-style offense. Great athlete. That's the thing that they talk about when you look at Jake Locker. He can make the throws, big, strong arm, but he can also pull it down and run and use his legs, and very smart player as well. So I think he's in a great situation, Marv. He's playing behind Matt Hasselbeck, who's friendly with him. They spent some time together out in the West Coast, so I think it really works out well.
Second in school history in career passing yards and touchdowns. Ranks 3rd in rushing touchdowns, and he goes at 6'3", about 235 pounds.
They get bigger every time you turn around.
Once again, the handoff. Chris Johnson out near the 45. He picked up 6, met by Laquell Jackson. Browns had called a timeout just a moment ago. They called their second timeout, so they have 1 remaining. Coming up on 3.5 remaining in this 4th quarter. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Verizon. Join JB, Dan, Chad, and Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights.
And this is valuable experience for a player like Jake Locker, even late in the game when you're handing the ball off. The ability to get in there, call plays in the huddle, go through the cadence of the snap count, direct traffic.
And again, he hands it off to Johnson. Picks up the first down. TJ Ward, the strong safety, on the tackle. 6 more for Johnson, so 21 carries, 98 yards for Chris Johnson.
Yeah, it's good to see Chris Johnson get going a little bit. Marvin, the thing that I do know is we talked about, plays behind a very good offensive line. The experience, the group that's played a lot together, and I think it always helps when you have 2 really solid tackles in Ruse and Stewart, but I think this is the strength of this offense. Matt Hasselbeck has had plenty of time to sit back there and make some good throws, and it's just, this Chris Johnson just needs some more reps more work with this group in the running game, and boy, they got a chance to be a very good offense.
And as you saw, he has matched his total over the first 3 games. Browns just used their final timeout, and here is Johnson going for the century mark. Fujita on the tackle. Well, Chris Johnson picked up 3, so it is 101 yards for the day for Johnson as we come up on 3 minutes to play in what has been a non-competitive game. It's been all Tennessee. 25th career 100-yard game. And the question is, what can Chris Johnson do from here as we look down the road for Tennessee? Next week they play the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and then they have their bye week. Again, it's Johnson. Bye week followed by home games against Houston, Indianapolis, and then Cincinnati.
Yeah, they only completed 10 balls today. Matt Hasselbeck 10 of 20, but they were for 220 yards. And you were concerned about how this offense would respond without Kenny Britt. Tight ends, I thought, were a big story. Of course, getting Chris Johnson going was the key.
And we have hit the 2-minute warning. Titans 31 and the Browns 13. For the Titans, their first trip to Cleveland since back in 2005. And they will stop the road losing streak at 6. Here is Walker looking to throw his first NFL pass off the mark. Incomplete, intended for Nate Washington. For the Titans, it'll be their first road victory since last October 18th at Jacksonville. Cleveland out of timeouts. Brent Kern will punt for a 6th time. Titans will go to 3-1. Nice start for the new head coach, Mike Munchak. Browns will drop to 2-2, losing at home for the 2nd time. And Matt Hasselbeck does not hit the 300-yard mark, but as you said, Rich, just an outstanding game. Very efficient, 10 for 20, 220 yards. Fair catch by Cribbs. 3 touchdowns and the 1 interception.
Yeah, he's been really good and great addition in free agency. Get a look at the AFC South standings, and boy, Indianapolis, Marv, really struggling without Peyton Manning. Jacksonville has their own issues at the quarterback position, going with Blaine Gabbert. And boy, Houston's looked good, and Tennessee, I think, has been the big surprise in this division so far. Matt Hasselbeck, I didn't anticipate with all the changes, new head coach, new coordinators, and new quarterback, that they'd be playing this well early.
Well, Colt McCoy, nowhere to go. Stopped by Derek Morgan. 4th sack of the day.
And this is where you get the sacks late in games, and the team having to throw the ball so much. And Morgan has made some plays.
Titans with 4 sacks of Colt McCoy. This time is able to get it over the middle, and Hardesty is on the reception and hearing some sarcasm from those who have remained here at Cleveland Browns Stadium.
This one was close too. He doesn't catch this one clean.
Final minute of play. McCoy able to find Little and has a first down. Picked up 7. Strong side linebacker Akeem Ayers makes the stop.
Not that it really matters, but Colt McCoy has set a team record for completions with 38.
And adds to that mark, connects with Jordan Norwood.
guy in there and get a couple snaps.
And when we say team record, we're talking of the expansionist Cleveland Browns. Fans of Otto Graham like yourself would be very upset.
They've had some great quarterbacks here over the
Bernie
years.
Kosar.
Oh, yeah. Played against Bernie. I never played against Otto. But there he is, the great Otto Graham.
Another Browns record of the expansion Browns, 59 attempts by McCoy, who goes high and wide. Once again, Cortland Finnegan on the blitz all over McCoy.
Cortland Finnegan, he's a fun player to watch. And you just see him bring the pressure. This could have been a knockout shot right at the end here. It looks like he just tries to pull off, and Cortland Finnegan can't afford any more fines, Marv. He's had his fair share over the years, but he won't back down to anybody. I just really enjoy watching him play. He's a great competitor.
So the Titans will go to 3 up, 1 down for the 6th time since 1999. They made the playoffs the previous 5. They were able to get off to that kind of start. Robisky on the catch. And that will do it. A commanding victory for the Titans over the Browns. 31-13. Coming up next, Game 2 of the NFL on CBS doubleheader for Rich Gannon. Marv Albert saying so long from Cleveland, Ohio. A long day for the Browns. Terrific day for the Titans. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.